Today I'm going to discuss human development and how it is affected by your environment. Have you ever wondered if you react in a specific way to situations because of how you were raised, or do you think it's because of who you are? What I mean is, are you the way you are because of people and events that have happened in your life, or do you think it's because of you were just born that way? You might think it doesn't matter, or you really don't care, but knowing why you are the way you are can give you explanations for your behavior. For behavior you never understood before. Even for the simplest things like how you tie your shoes. I'm not an expert, but most of my information I got on my presentation is stuff I remember from my psychology class or from reputable sources I found. Within this speech, I'll describe the differences between environmental and biological factors. These terms are also known as nature versus nurture, and is a huge debate between psychologists. I will also discuss how each affects individuals, and last but not least, I will express why I believe nurture has a bigger impact on a person. I also have some quotes I would like to share. Nature is the psychology that is transferred through your genetics, like certain mental illnesses. Examples of these hereditary mental illnesses include autism, ADHD, attention hyperactivity disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADD, attention deficit disorder, bipolar disorder, major depression, and schizophrenia. The National Institute of Health state they believe that because of the similarities in symptoms of these specific disorders, that is the reason why they are a part of the same genetic code. Nurture is how you were raised and the type of environment that is constantly around you. Nurture mainly focuses on child development, but it can also be transferred into adulthood. This is also how your personality is formed and starts from the moment you are born until for the rest of your life. PTSD is an example of a mental illness that you can get from your environment. It is formed from environmental stressors that were so stressful they became traumatic events, like child abuse or going into war. Other mental illnesses formed by your environment are dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder, dissociative amnesia, depersonalization, derealization disorder. These dissociative disorders are caused by child abuse, mainly physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. My point of view is that nurture has a bigger effect on your life in general. Your mental health is constantly being affected by your day-to-day life. Everyone experiences stress and anxiety. People with mental illnesses are just more susceptible to it. In the article, The End of Nature versus Nurture on July 10th, 2015, from the behavioral scientist Evan Nesteruk writes, "It's not true that genes do things independently of their context. Genes do what they do because of the context that they are in," meaning that regardless of if you have a mental illness or not, your environment still has to have an effect to have a cause on your personality. My own personal theory is that even if someone is born with depression, they have to have a stressor that brings it out first. Some quotes I would like to share are, Our first impressions are generated by our experiences and our environments, which means that we can change our first impression by changing the experience that compromised those impressions. This was said by Malcolm Gladwell. Another one that expresses the same point of view that I really agree with is, while genes are pivotal in establishing some aspects of emotionality, experience plays a central role in turning genes on and off. DNA is not the heart's destiny. The genetic lottery may determine the cards in your deck, but experience deals the hand you play, said by Thomas Lewis. With that, I hope you have seen why I think what I think, and at the very least have made a decision on what your point of view is on the subject of nature versus nurture. Now you can know it is important to know, because now you can know how your environment can affect you, so you can learn how to properly cope with stressful situations and help know what a bad or abusive situation is. And these are some of the sources that I use.